Today we're going to talk about this brand new Kia. It's the 2020 Kia Telluride, which kind of looks like a Cadillac if you don't really, actually look at it. It definitely stands out and has massive road presence, but personally, I'm not a very big fan of the exterior styling. It has amber daytime running lights, a big grille, a boxy overall shape, and taillights that look as sad as my sister was when Brad Pitt got married. It has massive 20-inch wheels that actually look really nice. But it's inside the car where my impressions are totally reversed because I really like what they've done here. The design works very well for me, the materials are mostly good quality, I really like the very little piano black and the lots of wood, or what seems to be wood. The display of the infotainment system is pretty large and widescreen, but to be honest with you, the digitizer on the car that I have has gone a little bit berserk because it's doing some pretty crazy shit over here. It's been canceling my navigation, hanging up my calls. It's almost like tweak with paranoia and muscle spasms. This SX all-wheel drive with Napa is loaded with technology. The car offers really good adaptive cruise control with stellar lane keep assist, blind spot monitors with a video feed in the cluster once you put your indicators on. It has wireless charging, a ton of USB ports for the passengers in the front, in the middle, in the rear, and the far back. It's just crazy. And of course, it supports Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It comes with 7 driving modes. You can set it between Comfort, Eco, Sport, Smart, which basically is like Eco, or you can switch it to Terrain mode and then do Snow, Mud, or Sand. That's pretty cool. And you even have a display that shows you how the all-wheel drive is distributing the power. For the most part, I've been using Eco for driving around the city and probably saving a few earthworms. But the thing is, I also managed to do some pretty decent fuel economy numbers as my week found me at a 13.2 liter per 100 kilometer average. So for the size of this thing, that's not bad at all. The captain chairs in the back offer really good legroom and headroom. They're wide enough to accommodate passengers of any size. They also slide and recline to allow some more space allocation to the third row. Going to the far back seat is as easy as pushing a single button, but unlike the driver modes, the seat goes back to a default position, which is not where I left it before. The far back seats are pretty comfortable. Even for adults, you get pretty good headroom and legroom. You have amenities like USB ports, and ventilation on the roof. The most surprising thing is that even with all seats up, the trunk space left in the back is spectacular. You get 600 liters of usable space, and there's even more room underneath the floor, so you can actually keep the third row up most of the time. The second row of seats get their own climate control, and the seats are not only heated, but they're also ventilated. Woohoo! Sweet! The last thing worth mentioning is the very nice double sunroof, which is surrounded by this very nice Alcantara-style fabric. It looks really upmarket. Under the hood, the Telluride gets a 3.8-liter V6 motor. It makes 291 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque. It also gets an 8-speed automatic gearbox, which is a very good gearbox. It shifts exactly the way it should, and you know what? It responds really well to throttle inputs. I mean, there's no lag. It's really nice. It's not the fastest when it shifts, but it actually responds really nicely and quickly and accurately, and I like it. There are no paddle shifters, but hey, in a thing like this, who needs them? 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, if you try really hard, comes in 7.9 seconds. But I have to say, performance, most of the time at least, is very adequate for the occasion, and when you hammer it, like in sport mode, it even comes with a pretty pleasant soundtrack. It's good. The brake pedal also feels very nice, but the brakes themselves on these winter tires took 46 meters to bring this to a complete stop from 100 kilometers, which is just average. On the road, the Telluride is a little bit noisier than the very upmarket premium competition like a BMW X7, but hey, it costs half the money. So can you really complain? No. That doesn't mean that it's not smooth and quiet though, because the first thing you need to know about this Telluride is that it is smooth like butter. Like, honestly, everything has been so nicely fine-tuned. Everything is so smooth. Everything about this car. Smooth, smooth, smooth. How's the steering? Smooth. How's the switchgear? Smooth. How's the AC ventilation? Smooth. Everything is smooth. Cruising in this thing is an absolute pleasure. And even though the suspension isn't adaptive, it's set to a good comfort-oriented setting that doesn't ruin the dynamics. Over bumps, it's mostly compliant and can soak up the majority of them, but some sharp-edged ridges will send a shockwave upwards, but it's to be expected with these 20-inch rims. If you find yourself in a situation where you have twisty roads, on-ramps, stuff like that, you can put it in sport, and as long as you don't push too hard, because it is a big fat pig. I mean, yeah, it's like me. It actually will turn. It's sure-footed. It will follow. It leans as much as a grandpa trying to fart, but you know what? It's okay. It's all okay. That's what it's built to do. It's a family hauler, and you know what? As a family hauler, it's excellent. It's really not a sporty thing, but you probably knew that already. But it does have a heads-up display and a pretty decent sound system, so everybody inside will be happy. Honestly, at 53,990 Canadian dollars, this thing is loaded to its tits, it's a bargain, and it can tow up to 5,000 pounds. So if you have a boat or stuff like that, you can pull it. Overall score is 8.7 out of 10, and if you like the styling, this car might be the one for you.
Perfect.